Welcome back to the Undercut podcast. My name's Aryan,
I'm Misty.
and we're previewing the French Grand Prix this episode, along with a few spicy takes on Formula One and just our opinions on the season so far. I'm going to start off with a pretty strong opinion. Is Daniel Ricciardo stopping other faster and younger drivers in Formula One by retaining his seat for next year? What do you think?
Definitely, he's definitely proven himself in F1 before, proven multiple time race winner. But in terms of past few years, post Red Bull, Renault, I don't know. I think he could be holding up a seat. I think. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's been I'm a big Danny Rick fan. We know this in this podcast. I'm the biggest Danny Rick fan there is. But I think he just hasn't clicked with the McLaren this year, or even last year. He wasn't quick last year. I think if I think about it, the way that sort of Lando was even in the Monza win, right? People say he won Monza, right? Lando hasn't won anything yet. Yeah, but Lando was right behind him. If it wasn't for Danny, he probably would have won that race. They were probably as quick as each other. His team orders were in place to not overtake each other. So I think Lando is probably as quick as Danny was on that Monza weekend. I say if Danny didn't have a great race, he probably wouldn't win. So I feel like just ever since John McLaren, ever since Lando's been there, Lando is definitely one of the greatest talents we have in Formula One, but Danny Rick is a seven time? One of them.
Yeah, I think 7 or 8. It's definitely 7
I think it's A. I think it's A after Monza. He's an 8-time winner and was part of Red Bull, and it was competing against Sebastian Vettel, competing against Max Verstappen. He is definitely one of the best we've seen, but he just hasn't got it to work in McLaren. I think it's unfair to people like Oscar Piastri, for example, who's done so well in Formula 2, just can't get a seat because of it. I think he's definitely holding up the seat.
Yeah, he's definitely holding on to his past performances rather than in the past few years. Anyway, it's his name that got him the seat. I think not his recent
path. I think maybe defending him, playing devil's advocate here, it might be McLaren don't want to choose a young driver just because how this year the car hasn't been great at all. Maybe they need someone with more experience who's driven tons of cars and gives that feedback to the car instead of bringing a new young guy who will probably compete against Lando. What do you think of that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but also to be fair, I think Ricciardo is going into the team thinking that maybe Lando was never going to be as such of a strong competitor.
Yeah, if you think about it, he's shocked all of us.
Yeah, definitely. It's Ricciardo was the past years he's been talking about going to teams to challenge for a world title, not challenge for first driver. Yeah.
Do you think that Daniel Ricciardo will win the World Championship before he retires?
No. Maybe if it was 2017, 2016, I would have said yeah, but no, not anymore. I don't think. I think he's just slightly past it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's the age or the team he's in, or his driving sort of era currently?
I don't think it's age related. I think it's the team obviously they haven't got the car they wanted this year. It was meant to be a step up, not a step down. But I don't know. I think it's just his performance past years. Yeah, he might have I think he made too big of a move from Red Bull. I don't know. But also obviously they've had Verstappen, so who knows?
I think if he stayed in Red Bull for another year, it would have definitely been hard for him to sort of get with competing. We saw how good Max was. No one could compete with him.
Yeah.
It would have been hard to compete with him, but then it would have given him that a car to compete for the World Championship at least.
Definitely,
He would have been probably the second driver. We know that, but Valtteri Bottas, why did he stay in Mercedes for so long? Because say Lewis has a bad year, he would win that year. Right? He knows he would win that year.
Yeah.
And that's that competition because I'm racing against the best. But I think Daddy's probably ego got hurt a bit and just look, I need to be a leader in this team. I can go to Renault, build a World Championship team, but then left right before they became probably a good car, which is very sad to see.
For example, a bad year at Red Bull, it might have been 2 or 3 wins for him instead of a bad year at McLaren being maybe 1 podium.
You can't get out of Q1. That's
can't get out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's bad. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he sort of, we've seen it in the past as well when he has a very strong teammate, he struggles. In 2016 when Max came into Red Bull, he was honest since day one, and we saw that sort of competitive edge that like Danny was like, oh, Max is a lot better than me. I can't compete with you, hence why I'm probably going to take a second seat and like take a step back. But I mean, he might do Sebastian Vettel and sort of go like to a team like Aston Martin, way in the back, and like hopefully you can get them on the way up. But yeah, I think he's definitely stopping younger drivers. And
yeah, I think he maybe like just needs to make a big decision again. See what happens.
I don't want to see him leave the sport. I think he's too.
Oh yeah, not at all. Everyone, no. Yeah. It's not his like character or anything at all. It's just like purely performance. Like everyone loves him. Like
DTS showed him so much. Like I think people got into Formula One because how good Danny was in DTS, and just sort of fell in love with the character and they fell in love with Formula One.
Exactly.
It's hard to see like him struggle because like he's like a fan favorite for everyone. But like if Oscar Piastri is doing really well in Indy, he's doing really well in other formats. Why isn't he giving it like Patrick O'Ward? He's doing so well in IndyCar. He's tested Formula One. He's been lapped as quick as Danny and Lando in those tests. Does he deserve a seat when Danny has been struggling to get a Q1 when Lando is finishing the podium? So that's
in F1 it's always going down. So in F1 it's always going down to like the grid size. It's 20 drivers. Like it's probably one of the smallest like the hardest like sports to get into from like a young age. Definitely. Like there's just the opportunities isn't there if there's no seats. Like you can't do.
You've got 1 in 20 chance first of all in the grid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Champion. On top of that, F2 has like I think 20-30 drivers again. F3 has probably 40-50 drivers. F4, F5 go on, each increasing.
Yeah.
You've got a 1% chance to get to each category, and the numbers sort of dies down. Like Oscar Piastri won. He was a stand-up performance of last year's F2. He won, and he didn't get into Formula One. And we have like, not saying names of people like Latifi or Lance Stroll or like been getting into Formula One.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to see. Sport. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's hard to see, but that's definitely what makes it interesting. Yeah,
Do you think Danny would want to switch to IndyCar if next year it goes bad for him? Or do you think he'll just leave the sport completely?
Maybe I would say I don't know about IndyCar specifically, but I do think he does love American like motorsports. Yeah. Like he's always mentioned like NASCAR here, there, wherever. Yeah. But if it was NASCAR or IndyCar, it would definitely be IndyCar for him. Yeah.
I think IndyCar. It's a more competitive one compared to NASCAR. Like,
yeah.
Maybe Roman Grosjean won, but then he did pretty decent. He's got a few wins here and there, but yeah. Do you think McLaren will sort of switch Patrick O'Ward and Danny like mid-season next year if Danny still hasn't done well?
Oh, I don't think McLaren is one to do a mid-season move. They're not Red Bull.
They're not Red Bull.
I think they stick it out like may at the end of the season probably, but I wouldn't say mid-season.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I disagree. I think they will do a mid-season switch because they've seen like if they say like 2 years, because like I think it was McLaren made it clear that it was Danny's Ricciardo's decision to stay or leave McLaren. Him deciding to stay. I think he himself is like this time next year he's like still like 7, 8 tenths behind Lando and hasn't got a top 10 consistent sort of car. Not a car, but his performances aren't top 10. I think he would want to leave Formula One because there's no way he can get better from there. I think unless he switches teams, because if that's the record he leaves, like in Formula One, your ask goes your last race. Even last race, he did very well. He finished P9, but Lando's P7 with an older car and older engine. It just sort of doesn't. I think they have a good option in Patrick O'Ward. He's a really good driver. He's driven Formula One cars. I think these cars are new enough where like experience doesn't matter as much because like we could hop in and say we can't drive Formula One cars, or we could hop in and we will probably have like 10% less knowledge than like Sebastian Vettel or Alonso would have because these cars are completely new.
Yeah, you're right. I think like I do change my decision. I think like Ricciardo. It's hard. It's tough to see, but it'll probably be out of F1 in a few years, won't it? Like,
hopefully not. But I mean,
hopefully not. But also like when you
young fire into it.
When you were saying about other teams, what other teams are there for him to go to realistically? Like Ferrari probably tied up for the next few years.
I don't think a top 5 team. I don't think Merck, Red Bull, maybe potentially Red Bull if Checo retires.
Potentially Red Bull, but
I doubt he'll want to go back. Maybe. I mean, they were talking about Seb coming in for Daniel Ricciardo.
I've heard that before. I've heard that. Yeah.
Maybe Aston Martin or Williams or even Haas. to be more in touch with the American side. I think you have to go to a team that's fighting for P7. It's like he wouldn't go back to AlphaTauri just because he wouldn't. Alfa Romeo probably no, just because Bottas is there on a long-term contract. You won't have two experienced ones. Haas and sort of Williams are the only two ones I can think of.
But I don't really see him at Haas.
No.
Probably.
Maybe Alpine if Ocon goes somewhere.
Alpine if anything. But
yeah.
That's just back to where he was, I guess. But
back to where he was, yeah. I mean, I doubt they would have him again, to be honest.
No.
Looking at Drive to Survive, I don't think, even though like Cyril isn't in the team, I think he just left bad blood between the two parties. Yeah, it's insane. Talking about F1 documentaries, there's about 10 new, or like 5 or 6 new documentaries coming out.
You're just listing this now.
Just listing, I think Lewis Hamilton's and Max Verstappen's documentary on Sky coming out pretty soon about their battle last year. Keanu Reeves is doing a Lewis Hamilton documentary on Disney Plus. The FIA is releasing a new documentary that the trailer just came out a couple of days ago about how the drivers when they were younger and stuff like that. Do you think all these sort of like DTS sort of documentaries going to bring in more like those type of fans, sort of be good for like us avid fans as well?
Well, from what you've listed, I think there's something for everyone, really, like with the amount of documentaries as well. But yeah, hopefully there is something more for avid fans, because of as much as I love Drive to Survive, I think there's something missing, like at like a high quality level anyway. Like YouTube, you could like scour like watch like hours and hours of content that are like, it's all right, but it leaves you wishing something like a little bit more high quality. Yeah.
Exactly.
But exciting stuff.
Yeah, Nate and I were talking about this in the last podcast. Like the last 2 seasons of GTS were just very much like over dramatic. I think it was the correct term to use.
Just a little bit.
It was just like a bit like stuff that like I think it's not hard to put the correct track like video in when like they're talking about that track. There's like moments where like different tracks pop and different battles appear. Where like as who watch a Formula 1 season from like the start to finish and watch the media, watch everything, it's very hard to relate to DTS then. But like at the same time, it's done so well Formula 1, so I doubt they're ever gonna scrap the idea for DTS.
Yes, it's too popular. They won't ever scrap it anytime soon. But
I doubt.
Yeah, alternatives should definitely be in place.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think? If you were the director of Drive to Survive, what would you change?
What would I change? The fake beef between drivers. They've said that multiple drivers come out and said that like some relationships are just like blown out completely. Like what was that? I think Verstappen. I think he actually doesn't like DTS at all. I might be wrong in saying that, but he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't like it just because like it like paints him and like a few like certain drivers like in a bad light, and they like multiple drivers have come out and said
I think if you watch like normal media, Max, like he has the anger side to it, but like they just like in just first 2 seasons of like when Danny was in Red Bull, they portrayed that sort of emotion. It just showed Max as like a guy who doesn't give a shit about his other drivers, just wants to drive fast, sort of like kill other drivers on the road essentially. But I doubt he really like. I think he's a really nice person, sort of like has that competitive edge. But like I think DTS, like as I said, it's like over dramatic for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
and like. I don't know. I feel like these new documentaries probably have learned from that. I hope we learn from that. Like, if the Disney Plus, like, starring like Keanu Reeves, that story about Lewis Hamilton comes out, I think it will show like the actual life of him. Not.
Yeah.
I think like we actually want to see what an F1 driver goes through on a weekly basis, right?
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think that's what like us fans want to see, including like the new fans as well. But
definitely,
it would be cool. I think
Max definitely not.
Yeah, I think Max has said that he'll be part of DTS this year. So hopefully they can like show the battle between him and Charles a little bit more than they did with Lewis and him last year.
Yeah, there was like that last episode, last season. There definitely wasn't much there in terms of like anything new.
There was
like maybe one or two Toto. Yeah, but there was maybe like there was 1 or 2 Toto clips at the end, I think. But apart from that, like nothing significant. Yeah.
Whenever you say Toto, I just think of no, Mikey, no. That's like just stuck.
No, Mike. Yeah. That's definitely been ingrained into our heads. Yeah.
It has. Speaking about Michael Masi, he just recently left the FIA to go to Australia with his family and friends. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely. I don't know. It has to be said. It's a very FIA move of keeping its things under wraps and like controlling the look of the sport. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's a spicy Thursday opinion, but I think Michael Masi was actually fired about 6 to 8 months ago when the first initial bit came out that he's leaving the FIA or leaving his race director scene, and this was just his like 6 months. You have to work for 6 months, then you can leave a company. That was the thing he had to do. I don't think it's 6 months when he leave Abu Dhabi, like right after Abu Dhabi, wasn't it? Like left to see. I don't think it's rough. I think it's 6 months, but like I think that was like the plan. Work for 8 months, go to Formula E, like leave the director seat, just like go around, be part of the admin team, and then just like move to Australia.
Yeah, definitely a bit of like a PR move there, for sure. Yeah. They let it die down.
Yeah, exactly. I think if they admitted it, like if they fired him on the spot after Abu Dhabi, it would have been like we actually messed up. We actually did F up, and like it would put a lot of blame on the FIA. I doubt there's just like a media stunt. Like, look, he was fired a very long time ago. We're just sort of like, oh, cool. He's still working, but in the background, he's away from the race. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Like he was at the Formula E in London, and like people, like fans were like watching him be a race director in Formula E. And like I remember one of my friends, she went to the Formula E place, and she was like, "Yeah, it's actually quite scary. I hope Lewis Hamilton Max didn't happen when he got back into that seat." But yeah, I think he definitely was fired and doesn't want to voluntarily leave.
Yeah, no, he would have stayed if he tried. Like that's like the dream role for that profession. Exactly. Like, why would you want to leave? Yeah, even if it's like controversial. Like,
sorry, do you think you'll see him ever again, like a motorsport sort of regulation seat ever? Like he could do the Australian like racing series and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely people. Sorry, not people, like racing series that would take him just for his name. Like,
yeah,
I don't. Probably Australian V8 maybe. Like that's I see him though. NASCAR probably.
NASCAR.
That's that sort of racing series. Yeah, I think I do. No, I don't think we'd see him in anything like high level FIA, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's either he's going to be working at a supermarket as a cashier or still stay in like the motorsport industry and sort of be like do Australian circuits or do like some random off races here and there. I was just thinking about this, like if he creates a book, he will make so much money about just like discussing what happened in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they definitely don't want to talk about it.
No, just exposing the FIA, being like, look, these guys want to do this. I had to do this. Netflix paid me $1 million. I had to do it. Yeah, it's insane. I was just thinking, if the book is titled like "The Untold Truth," that will make so much. I can just see that on the shelf currently, like his photo in the back.
You'd have to make it some like cringy F1 related title though, like
F1 direction for dummies, something like that.
Behind the grid.
Behind the grid. Oh, that would do so well. This is behind the grid. They would. What's your spicy Thursday opinion for this week?
Okay. With the I'll give you a bit of context before. Like, so if you look at like how well Alonso's done in terms of like the cars he had and the teams he was with and the amount of like world championships he's had, there's always like a bit of an argument saying like, what if he had loads of like good cars throughout his career? How many world championships would he have? But then in reverse, would Hamilton have as many world titles as he does in the car if he was in like I don't know a Haas for a few of the years?
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that actually, to be honest.
Because out the bat, he was in a McLaren.
Yeah, he was in a very good. I think he's one of the few Formula One drivers that came in and had like a very competitive seat. I think the only person I can think that had that was probably. I don't think anyone had that on this current. Probably not even Charles, because he was in like this. Sauber and then went to Ferrari.
I can't name anyone else in the past years.
Yeah, maybe when did Valtteri start? Was Valtteri in the?
He started in Williams. Yeah. Williams.
I think it was just like semi-competitive, but not like McLaren competitive at least. Yeah, I think definitely Lewis sort of like fast track. I mean, he was that good. I mean, he's the greatest.
Not saying it was undeserved. No. But I just saying what would have happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he would win in a Haas though?
can anyone win the Haas, to be fair?
Imagine Gunter just telling you, you're P1, you've won, Lewis. That would be, that's insane.
Just imagine Gunter saying that, to be fair.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Like Gunter himself, how he'd react.
Yeah, that's insane.
Gunter deserves a win.
He does. I think he's been
with the careers,
I think
with the stress problems, yes.
Yeah, all the stress problems, all the freaking doors that have been broken.
Yeah.
I think the Haas F1 team, like media team, just like portray him as such a meme. He needs a meme just to do.
Yeah, walking, breathing meme.
A walking, breathing meme. I mean, I think, to be honest, he probably has a chance. I think the next couple of years to be like top 3, top 4 team. I think just the way the Haas are looking, like Mick's sort of turning it on now.
Yeah, definitely. They've got
Go on.
Sorry, yeah, they've got the development team energy, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Safe to say, yeah.
I think Kevin Magnussen is a very underrated driver. No one hypes him up. No one hypes him down. He's very I've done well. I'm going to stay at that level of doing well. I'm not going to win a world title. I'll do P5 to P8. I'll always get the points. That's the sort of driver I am.
They're definitely keeping their head down.
If Danny joins Haas instead of K-Mag, or imagine K-Mag and Danny Ricciardo in one team. Say Nick goes to Ferrari or goes in a better team. If those two in one team,
that would be a Drive to Survive dream.
That would. The amount of content that just come out of that sort of Haas F1 team would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, at that point they stop caring about on track action and just purely creating content.
Exactly. Do you think that he would go to Haas if Danny Ricciardo had a chance? Say they would pay him twice as much they're earning at McLaren, which is impossible. But would he go to Haas and reconstruct the entire team? Would any driver
maybe
do it?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know how money driven they are. It doesn't seem like they're insanely money driven just because they make insane amounts of money anyway. I think for that to happen, he himself has to accept that that's where his career is going and not anywhere else. So it would be a bit tough for him, I guess. But I don't know. At some point, you do have to make a decision. Either stay in F1 as a development, not development driver, obviously. That's not a thing. But that's not that what role is. But development, knowing that you're joining a team that isn't going to have as good on track performance, and you're then there to just help them out in the next few years. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I would see him doing that though. But it'd just be hard to admit. Yeah, it'd be hard for him to admit. Yeah.
But let's preview the French Grand Prix before we run out of time. And if you heard, the Mercedes are bringing new upgrades. Their biggest upgrade package so far. They've said it should close the gap that they're currently 2 tenths or 3 tenths behind the Ferrari Red Bull. That new upgrade should theoretically close the gap. So we could possibly see a 6-way competition for a win. Never know.
Hopefully.
I think one thing I realized, the new era of cars, this new generation, we've seen that on-track battles are possible. If I just think about it,
definitely
compared to 2021, right? We saw Max and Lewis battle, and that's about the grid that was battling. There's nothing more. Maybe a few Alpines, Mercedes, Ferraris, McLaren, Ferrari battles, but it was literally strategy is the number one decider of how you win your race.
It is so good to see this year.
I think it's very good for everyone. I think everyone's even Haas could win tomorrow and would be probably on pace if they could win it. Which is really cool to see. But
before we get to that, kind of you mentioned it, with all the on-track battles, there's been so many races this year where fans have been complaining about the TV coverage being poor.
I heard that,
saying that we're not seeing enough but I think that's a good place to be in F1 right now.
F1 is prioritizing to choose which battles to sort of broadcast. That's a good issue to have, not a bad issue.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather be arguing that I'm not seeing enough of the overtakes rather than that actually not being enough overtakes to see.
Exactly. I'd rather see a Mercedes Alpine battle than see Lance Stroll go over bumps.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that, or see Lance Stroll P20 just go around in circles, which we had like last year or the year before that. But yeah, back to what I was saying about the French Grand Prix.
Yeah. French Grand Prix. What do you think? Oh,
I have a very bold prediction. If I
go for it.
I'll just get very bold for the French Grand Prix. Right. For French Grand Prix, I think we're going to have a Mercedes win.
Yeah.
A Max DNF. Alpine podium. Maybe an Alonso or Ocon, one of them. And a Williams in the points.
Williams in the points. Who would it be? The Williams that's in the points.
I don't know if Latifi has his new upgrade though. If Latifi has his new upgrade, I'm gonna say Latifi. But if Alex still has a new car, I'm gonna say Alex. I think Latifi's gonna surprise us just a little bit. I think just a little bit.
Yeah. When you doubt him most, he'll be there.
Latifi's always on the back corner.
I think with the past few races, I think Red Bull are going to come out the bat just to prove just to come back. They can't be losing 3 races back to back. So I think Verstappen win. If I'd say as a Ferrari fan, anyway, I'm saying I'd say probably I'm going to say Verstappen win.
Yeah.
I think Sainz second. I think Sainz, maybe, and just throw out the McLaren podium. Yeah,
McLaren podium, very strong. I don't know McLaren going to be in the top 10, to be honest.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to say it.
Apparently, track limits are going to be even bigger / even more enforced than the Austria Grand Prix.
Really?
Which I mean, probably see more. Like me and Nate were speaking about this. I don't mind black and white and 5-second penalties because at least it's one set of rules we're all following now. It just makes the driver compete harder and compete better, which is a good thing I think from Formula 1. What do you think?
I don't think I can give a good opinion on that too much. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hopefully we should. I think the French Grand Prix should be a pretty good one. I'm gonna end up with this very controversial topic. Do you think Checo has a chance? Okay, do you think, say Checo wins the French Grand Prix, wins the next one, and Max DNFs in both, he will effectively be caught up with Max, right? Do you think Red Bull will still favor Max Verstappen to win?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like where they both are in their careers, I think Perez signed as a strong, well-experienced teammate as a second driver, like a bit of Bottas.
Yeah, I agree.
Hamilton.
I agree.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think if Checo wins, he'll retire. I think.
Yes.
If he wins the championship, he will retire. So maybe Red Bull probably push it, allow them to fight on track, but do team orders one after the other. Say one race Max is quicker, they will enforce team orders. But if one Max isn't quicker, they won't enforce team orders. Have a 1-by-1 situation maybe potentially. But I think Checo. I think so far we have probably a 4-way battle for the championship. Science is probably trailing off a bit just because reliability isn't great.
Yeah, it's luck.
But I think if Max has 1 or 2 DNFs, which is very possible with the engines we've seen this year, I think it's going to be a hell of a season, a second half of the season at least.
Yeah, exactly. There's very much a lot still on the table. Nothing's been decided.
Definitely. I think we're in the same position we were last year where Max is sort of taking it away, but Lewis in the second half just stole the show. We can see that with Leclerc, we see that with Checo.
Yeah.
If Mercedes join the title battle, that's just more points being taken away from Red Bull and Ferrari, which makes
exactly.
I doubt Mercedes or George or Lewis will win the championship at all, but I think they're just taking away points from
making it harder. Yeah,
exactly. Which is great for us F1 fans.
What you want, it definitely it keeps it spicy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's leave it on that. Anything to add at the final bit?
I don't think so. Yeah. Covered everything pretty much.
That's good. Yeah, same for me. Hopefully the French Grand Prix proves to be a very exciting one. I was looking at the track photos for Formula 1 today. I don't know how they don't get lost because there's 2 circuits going along the same.
Yeah, I know. It looks impossible to drive. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna try it on my wheel and see if I can actually drive it. but I'm gonna have the track lines on. Well, they don't have any track lines.
You got to try it.
I gotta do it. Exactly. We will.
See how it goes.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much for tuning into the Undercut podcast. We'll probably release another one after the French Grand Prix reviewing and our thoughts and opinions about it. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitter. Make sure to check out our website, check out our TikToks. They're sort of blowing up at the moment, so the more traction we get, the better it is. But that's it for me. Anything else you add?
Yeah. No, thank you very much, guys.
Perfect. Peace out.